So there's been discussions, with this Vince McMahon lawsuit. It's real tricky and odd. The legal team has done a very good job delaying things. And, obviously we know the feds didn't pick up the case. But, I mean, things have just kind of been kept out of the news. But then we got that news about Johnny Ace flipping the script. And it's hard to call where it's going to go for Vince McMahon. But what I'm trying to get at here, and it's something that I think we all know deep down, right? Just like initially when Vince had to step down when the article came out exposing the payoff and all that, and he, wiggled his way back in, that if Vince can put this thing to bed and it's not too messy, he's going to come back, right? I mean, he's getting up there in age, but the WWE is Vince McMahon's, right? And we know that. He wants to be back there. If he could, he would. And unless you don't believe that, tap into the comments with it. But I came across this thread here, and it just got me thinking about it. Do you think he'll get back there? And this question that people are asking, be real. This is from Chris, Iconic Chris, in the Twitter sphere. He says, be real. Do you miss Vince McMahon? Now, there was a lot of people, too. You guys remember when Vince wiggled his way back in way back then? They were, happy when Triple H took things over. And then, creatively what he was doing. But then I saw people getting pissed, oh, damn, Vince came back and is undoing things Triple H started to do. But now, as Triple H has been in charge for quite some time, unless you still think Vince is still calling the shots, but it feels different, like he's not. It's just a real tricky, kind of convoluted discussion with a lot of theoretics to it and all that amongst the pro wrestling community. But my point is now, as time's been going on, I've seen people say, damn, I wish Vince was back. So let's get this discussion going in the comments. Let's look over some of these responses. This says they should all be running the show, and Shane's kids and Steph/Triple H kids should be fighting over control, and so on and so forth. I mean, what do you guys think is the his entrance song? Starts off words, no chance in hell. No chance, someone else said. Okay, this guy says, I do. Vince always made tickets affordable for families, and he would would have never used the ring for ad space. Ooh, so that's an interesting one. Doesn't things just look, the optics of WWE? Obviously, the Attitude Era is so far back, or whatever, the Ruthless Aggression Era, all these different eras, and where they start and stop and blend together and ish, is all up for debate and discussion. But the point that I'm getting at is just the atmosphere, the way things look is just so different. Seeing that comment really makes me think about that. This guy is doing the mach. Oh yeah. What's this say? No, not really. I have moved on from McMahon era. WWE is a bigger machine now. It doesn't need him anymore, in my opinion. This guy doing the gift saying, yeah. Vince was for the fans. He deeply cared for the business. Bring him back. Get the WWE out of TKO. Guess what else? He isn't on the Epstein list. So that's a whole nother discussion. Side convo. I'm not going to dive deep into it. The way that they released that list in this real confusing format and just the whole thing, and that no one else has been brought to justice, is total bullshit. But with Vince McMahon and having some foul allegations where literally it's alleged he ished on someone's head. Do you believe that all? That's another question too. Let's get it going. Do you think that Vince is a no good piece of ish? Do you look at him as an ex-offender type? Or do you think that it was just he was having an affair and the girls adding extras on it? Do you believe that where do you know what I mean? I want to know everyone's thoughts. The Mr. McMahon discussion is one that hasn't happened in quite some time. And also, too, where someone was saying the kids should all be arguing over it and so on and so forth. At that point in time where we thought it was going to be sold to the Saudis, do you think that would have switch the game up where WWE would be totally different? And what do you think will happen generally generationally? You know, do you think there's a point that the WWE is just going to be a total different thing or just be gone? Or do you think that so far, if it is going to happen in the future, you know, like again, please tap in. Let's talk pro wrestling. Make sure to subscribe while you're over here too, guys, and hit the like button. Help me break through in the algorithm. If you're new over here on WrestleQuest, man, we just talk about pro wrestling, old stuff, new stuff, everything in between. I haven't been getting as much content lately. It's tough to break through in the algorithm, so help me out. But I really want to know what everyone thinks about this, you know? Like a lot of people, you guys remember that? Everyone was like, man, Vince needs to leave this behind. His time's done. He has an old way of thinking. He's flucking things up. And then Triple H got in, and then people were like, and then Vince came back, and people were like, oh, Triple H just started doing his thing, and now Vince is, you know, I can see his fingerprints all over the product again, and he's changing it all. But now I see a lot of people unhappy with things. A Pikachu come back. Austin, oh hell yeah, we just had 316 day. Happy 316 day, everybody. Shane, Vince, not so much. What's the deal with Shane? I totally forget, man. People love Shane. Shane is just a cool motherfucker, man. And whatever happened with that thing, do you guys remember that where Shane was with, what was it, Tony Khan's kid or something? He was kicking it with the AEW people. Anyone remember that? Oh, and then someone says they shared the police video shows Vince McMahon's 100-mile-per-hour car crash in Connecticut. Man, I hate even talking about Connecticut. Nothing to do with Vince. There was a real douchebag that I knew from Connecticut. Some crazy things happened in my life. And like, I don't know, I just hate even thinking about them in this punk-ass Connecticutian or whatever the fuck it is, however you say it. But hey, no disrespect to Connecticut or people from there. Just this motherfucker in my mind, like I can't stand. And I didn't watch the Vince McMahon car crash. Anyone, what did you think of it in the comments? I got to go watch that thing. I miss his Mr. McMahon character from a long time ago, but that's it. Even then, he can't do that anymore. He's 80 years old now. Man, Vinnie Mac is like not to be fucked with. I mean, again, maybe some people, like, I don't know how to feel about Vince in this whole case and these allegations and if he is a no good sack of ish. I mean, obviously there's other things involving Vince that, you know, it's like the things you hear about Vince McMahon, it's like back and forth about this guy, you know. But most people that worked with Vince seem to really respect him and have love for him. But like the dude is a machine from what it seems. But yeah, the Mr. McMahon character, it was such a trip too, like leading into the Attitude Era where you just started finding out that Vince McMahon was like the owner, you know, like not just an announcer, because he would kind of keep that information in the cut. And then the whole Austin thing, and then next thing you know, like it's front and center that he is the boss. Then, you know, Stunner in your boss, and him, you know, becoming the evil Mr. McMahon character was just crazy. It was a wild turn of events. Then, obviously, what was that? When 2007, when they were going to kill him off, but the Benoit tragedy happened. Yo, I remember I was at work, and this motherfucker that I worked with, he thought that was real. And I was like, dude, are you kidding me? You really think that car explosion like that? He was like, it blew up. I was like, dude, it's a wrestling storyline. You think they would have just had a car bomb on TV and there wouldn't have been emergency personnel and people freak? Like, come on, man, cut it the fuck out. What a crazy turn of events, though, that happened. And then the Benoit tragedy, you know? It's wild shit, man. But yeah, just the change of Mr. McMahon over the years from barely being seen or knowing, I mean, being seen but not knowing he's the owner, to it totally being out there to the heel character, and then him kind of fading away. I don't know, you know, it's just crazy pro wrestling where it's at now and ad space in the ring. I've heard a lot of people say that Vince would not go for that. It's really trippy to see, man. Not really. His last few years were terrible WWE programming. I believe Triple H could have made WWE incredible if TKO wasn't involved. I would prefer Vince back over a TKO, but if Triple H had full ownership, I'd choose Triple H's WWE. Look how good NXT Black and Gold era was. Yeah, man. Remember they did that bullshit polka dot era of NXT? Why? And then they switched back from it or whatever. But yeah, when I was talking earlier in the video too about the optics of things, the way things would look, the way Raw looked in the Attitude Era. Like, it's cool looking back on where they come out of the A, but I'm saying the Attitude Era, just the atmosphere of it all, it was just so lit and live, you know what I mean? And like, man, that Black and Gold NXT was, why did they get away from that, man? You know, you're fired, Vince McMahon. We'll read 3 more of these and then we're going to close it out. But again, guys, I thank you so much for tuning in. Fuck with me over here, guys. Talk pro wrestling with me. I want to get this just nice community going where we can talk about pro wrestling, do live streams, and just have a lot of fun. But I need your guys' support. It says yes and no. Vince did some good things, but also some terrible things. Oh, and the comment before that, I forgot to say, so do you believe what that person was saying, that Triple H, it's not his fault right now, TKO being involved in this merger is fucking up the game, or what? Okay, yeah, so here we are, the last comments on the screen, and then we're going to close it out. This individual says, to be honest, when he was running the show, nothing was PG and kids were watching. But now that Triple H is running it, everything is PG and scripted, because the whole thing with Undertaker and Big Boss Man, I didn't know he was going to hang him up in Hell in a Cell, the Attitude Era. Yeah, that was crazy. And man, there was something else in that comment I wanted to respond to that's like slipping my mind at the moment. Oh, the scripted thing. I mean, how much times do we got to hear from that? You know, with some that was definitely cool about pro wrestling these days is the online community, the content, the podcast, the behind the scenes stuff. We get it. It's really a dope time to be engaged in the pro wrestling community. Even if you don't watch the current product, there's all kinds of stuff being talked about from back in the day. You know, like it's pretty cool times. But what was I gonna say? Sorry, guys. Oh, scripted. How many times though have we heard from the guys that really got over and did some great things that this having a full script just doesn't work? You gotta let these guys, cook. Like Austin 316, totally like freestyled and stuff like that, and people going off the energy like The Rock used to do of the crowd. They gotta get off this scripted bullshit. It just doesn't work. I just don't understand why. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff where when you look at things, you'd be like, oh, I could do that, or I could do that better. And certain things, it's like, okay, obviously there's probably a lot more to doing this or that. I don't know everything, right? But come on, man. How long has this been going with this scripted bullshit where they're just 100%, like, you can't give the guy a couple bullet points and let him cook. It's just no one's ever really going to develop their Jericho is another one. Like, all these guys have all constantly told us this, and it just doesn't exist anymore. Why? That's what I was trying to say, is like, yeah, maybe we couldn't run the show. There's more to it than we could fathom. Okay, like, no doubt. But how many times do you got to hear from the people that did do it, that's why it was so dope then, and they came up with the lit things that they did because they were able to cook and improvise, man. Nope. But Triple H is only slightly better than him as Booker. And here is the last comment, and it seems to be a long one. Once again, leave your comment in the comment sections and subscribe. Mess with me, guys. WrestleQuest. We're just going to read this comment, react to it, and then get up out of here and close this thing out. I miss his prime booking days, but Vince has changed. Not entirely because he has changed, but times have changed. And the stuff we loved back in the day would never fly today. One thing that I love about Triple H booking is that even minor matches have meaning. but the main stories don't have as much steam behind them as they would have under Vince. And I hate to feel, what's it say, meh about it, because you know they put a lot of work into it. But so, and no, and then nope, can't wait till he burns in hell. So one person who definitely does think he's a piece of ish. So there you have it, man. Mr. McMahon, will he be back? The case, like I said, is, if you guys notice that it's been quiet on the news front, and obviously he's going to have a top-notch legal team. This is a guy that went to war with the feds and beat them. That's why, too, real quick, again, I know I said I'm going to close it out, but when the feds raided Titan Towers or whatever, I was like, oh man, they're gonna charge him with this situation. But obviously no changes came. It's just a civil court case. But I was like, they're gonna want to get him, because they couldn't get him back in the day. He beat him, but I don't know. He's still here, and I got a feeling he's gonna try to get back up in this thing, his thing, WWE. So again, thank you guys. Let's talk pro wrestling. Much love. I appreciate you guys pulling up, and I will see you on the next video.